Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware about Project 2025 and former President Trump.
He has, with his friends, said the quiet parts out loud, but not only said them out loud, he wrote a book about it. What's it called? Project 2025.
That is false. Trump did not write Project 2025. The project's big policy document, published by the Heritage Foundation think tank, lists dozens of people as authors, editors, contributors. Donald Trump is not among them.
I said anything. Nobody tonight said a damn thing. They want you to vote for a ticket based on absolutely no concrete idea about what they would do once they get in office. You said he got more progressive when he got elected governor. So you're saying every time he gets another office, he gets more and more progressive. I think that's exactly what would happen. Tonight, you did hear people say, well, we may not agree with them on everything, but at least it'll be joyful as they tax us into oblivion. I think the idea that you could run an entire presidential campaign based on the idea of vote for me to find out what's in it.
Wait a minute, Scott.
I would have to agree with that opinion. I believe the DNC night 3, there was a whole lot of fluff, a whole lot of nothing. As you saw from the intro, they got fact-checked for trying to say that Donald Trump was the author of the Project 2025, which he wasn't. They forgot to also mention that Donald Trump has not endorsed Project 2025. Actually, Donald Trump has his own platform called Agenda 47. If you look at his official website, Agenda 47, that is clearly listed. He has no ties to Project 2025. But for some reason, the CNN anchor did not add that as a part of his fact check. And it goes to show that I think the mainstream media is a big brainwashing kind of enterprise, which recently they got exposed for because a study had came out, if I can find the video on. So here's the video. Here's not the video. Here's the article. Legacy media is biased and wants to control what you know, which is why citizen journalism is essential. The legacy media election interference, because the way they're covering Trump, it could be perceived as election interference. Harris' coverage is 84% positive. Trump's coverage is 89% negative. I hate to be right, but damn, I called it on the nose because it's not the first study they did before. I believe there was another study that came out where they go on all the coverage of how the media covered every president in the past since Trump. Every president, from Clinton to Bush, Obama, and Trump. Obama had overwhelmingly positive coverage. Bush had like even after 2020, even 2001, he had like 47% positive coverage. Trump only had 10% positive coverage. So the media has been playing this game, and I've been highlighting the bias of the mainstream media. And it seems like people on my detractors, people who will disagree with me, don't want to acknowledge the fact that 97% of the U.S. journalists are liberal Democrats. And my argument is their bias bleeds into their work, right? Because the left loves to talk about unconscious bias. Oh, people don't mean to do this. People don't mean to slander people. People don't mean to frame things a certain way. People don't mean to look at someone negatively because of the color of their skin, their sexuality, or their gender. But when I make that same argument about political ideology and how it incentivized people to frame their rival party as Hitler, because that's what the DNC night, it was embarrassing from my point of view. All the DNC seems like, and I said this in my last video when I covered day 2, it's so focused on Trump. It's like Trump is the MVP. Like, it's Trump's world. We all live in it. Like, this is the narrative I'm getting from the Democratic Party, right? Here's some clips. I'm not going to go through it. Oprah says childish cat ladies, and CNN cuts to a random woman in the crowd. And the funny part is, day 2, they just finished railing against billionaires and how they didn't earn their money, but they got one speaking right now on stage, Oprah. Like if you don't know anything, you believe everything that comes out of the Democratic's mouth, right? Tim Waltz with a straight face says leaders don't spend all day insulting people and blaming others. Leaders do the work. That's odd. Trump hasn't been in office for 3.5 years, and Democrats blame him for everything. Like, this is this contradictory messaging that I'm getting from the DNC, especially if you're a moderate to high information voter. And I want to point out this clip because I want to transition is you see someone currently in the Biden administration, and then also we'll talk about the economy a little bit. The economy its job numbers was miscalculated by 818,000 jobs. Yes, you heard that correctly. This is embezzlement. How this is not a lie? You made that much of an error? They projected that the mistake was about 100,000 jobs. Maybe they overinflated the job numbers by 100,000 jobs. No, it found out that 818,000 jobs were overestimated in the job economy compared to last year in 2023. Yet when Americans were saying that the economy is not strong, the same liberal media with no research, with no, oh, look at the job numbers, look at the unemployment, the economy is wrong, the economy is strong. Americans falsely believe that the economy is weak. There's a headline like that in The Guardian. I'll show you after this clip.
You hear that. Do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
Some breaking news into CNN right now. The job growth has been far weaker in the U.S. than originally reported. That is according to new data just coming in this morning. Let's get right to CNN's Matt Egan. What's the headline, Matt?
Jim, 818,000 fewer jobs were added during the period between April 2023 and March of this year. We were bracing for these revisions to come out and show that job growth was weaker, and that is what we got. This is probably on the high end of the expectations. Some of the forecasters had been saying probably around few 100,000 jobs. Goldman Sachs had said maybe up to 1 million. So this is on the higher end. We're seeing some of the biggest revisions downward in sectors that include manufacturing, leisure and hospitality, professional and business services. Of course, some sectors actually added more jobs than were previously known. Private education, health services, transportation and warehousing. We look at the market, not a massive reaction from the market. I think that's in part because this is somewhat backwards looking data. What investors really care about is what happens next. And these numbers out today, they do support the idea that the jobs market has been weaker than we previously thought and that it has been slowing down. That makes sense because we know the Fed has been working hard to slow the economy down as it tries to fight inflation. So I do think that the fact that the economy had more than 800,000 fewer jobs than previously known supports the idea that the Fed is going to start cutting interest rates next month. The question still remains whether or not it's a 1/4 point or a larger interest rate cut. But either way, it's going to lower mortgage rates, credit card rates, and car loan rates.
America, are you tired yet? Are you tired of these people not practicing actual journalism? Like, this is ridiculous. Studies suggest tone of legacy media coverage amounts to election interference. A recent study suggests that the overall tone of the legacy media coverage is so biased that it could be considered election interference. The Media Research Center evaluated the major network coverage of the 2024 presidential race, specifically Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. In the weeks since President Joe Biden was effectively forced out of the ticket by the prominent members of his own party, the results, they say, indicates a drastic bias in favor of Harris. This is why I said this is a bubble the mainstream media is creating around Kamala Harris. This is why she's so competitive in the polls. This is why I think Trump derangement syndrome became a thing, because 87% of the coverage on Trump is negative. It's no wonder there's people out there who are not politically informed, are so negatively reactive to Trump, because the mainstream media is covering him only in a negative light. So they think only bad things about him. As you saw from the clip, the lady started in and saying, oh, Trump lies about everything. I can't trust anything that comes out of his mouth, even if he's saying the truth. So if Trump says 2 + 2 is 4, she said, that's a lie. I don't believe it. I'm not familiar with math. That's what the lady's arguments essentially came down to. Asinine. I'm tired of it, bro. I'm tired. America's trust in media plummets to a historic low. And these journalists have the goal to see it as a problem when studies just came out right now validating everything that America's been speculating about the mainstream media. Only 32% overall Americans believe in the mainstream media. Who still trusts the mainstream media? This is a year old. This data is a year old. September 1st from September 23rd, 2023. Majority of Democrats still trust the mainstream media, still have confidence in the media. Only 29% of independents have confidence in the media, and only 11% of Republicans have trust in the media. Then they're going to blame Trump for all this. No, Trump just pointed out what people already felt about the media. And it's so ridiculous how these same people will come here and lecture you, right? As you see from this banner here I'm about to show you, this article is more than 2 months old, right? 2 months ago. Like, I have the timelines, bro. Like, this is what I'm saying. If you want to be good in politics, keep a long memory. Majority of Americans wrongly believe the U.S. is in recession, and most blame Biden, who's in office right now. The Democrats are holding the DNC as if Kamala Harris isn't the current vice president, as if they're not currently in power. And this is one of the messaging that I think was profound, is that I remember seeing an interview. J.D. Vance was saying that it would have been a more effective messaging if the Democratic Party said, hey, this is what we're currently doing, and this is what we will continue doing if you vote us into the office. That will be a more effective pitch. But they're sitting here pretending as if the country hasn't been ran by anybody for 3.5 years. And most people do believe you're in a recession. College graduates are finding a hard time finding jobs. You see, I just did a video about how I reacted as a conservative from a political lens. The cost of living epidemic. People are complaining about the prices of goods increasing. People complaining about they're not making enough money to make ends meet. That don't sound like a recession to you? Unemployment is higher than they expected. The job numbers was fluffed up more than they expected. They thought the job numbers were only fluffed up by 100,000 jobs. No, it was 818,000 jobs, to be correct. And then when Scott Jennings pointing out, oh, your candidate is trying to run on without an agenda, the comeback, the slick comeback liberals say is, oh, so does your candidate, Donald Trump. My candidate has a policy platform. Your candidate still doesn't. Your candidate doesn't have such a policy platform that they're reusing the platform for Joe Biden. So that way they say, hey, look, we can always deny this, but here you go, Democratic voters. Here's your party platform that still references President Biden as the presidential nominee. That's your platform, Democrats. So the RNC had to go and create a website laying out Kamala's policies as she continues to keep her voters in the dark. But the liberal media, when Scott Jennings made that critique, is going to try to push back and say, oh, so does your candidate, Donald Trump. Donald Trump's been president for 4 years. Donald Trump is already a proven candidate, a proven product already. People know what they're getting with Donald Trump. No one knows what they're getting with Kamala Harris. So it's a false equivalency. But all the liberals online, oh my God, he owns Scott Jennings. What a slick comeback. Idiocy. I haven't watched the movie Idiocracy, but I might watch it on my locals because I'm gonna get copyrighted if I try to do a live stream of it right here. I might do a reaction video to Idiocracy because I heard a lot about the movie, and it seems like many people keep referencing the fact that our current moment in time exemplifies Idiocracy. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? I'd like to hear it all in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. What are your thoughts about day 3 of the DNC? What are your thoughts about the media's bias continually being exposed and justifying why Americans don't trust them? Why most Americans see that the mainstream media is actually a threat to America? Because like Malcolm X said, the media is the most dangerous entity on the Western Hemisphere. It can make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent. And based on the negative coverage and based on the outcomes that it seems like it has still on the minds of the American populace, Malcolm X seems to be proven right on this regard. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.